Hi, this is Susan Couch, and welcome to my studio tour. Today I'm going to talk to you about two parts of my business. One is working for Global Quilt Connection and creating content, and the other one is making art for exhibition and sale. So this is my studio. Welcome again. This is my design wall, and this little quilt top right here is something that I made in Lyric Kennard's Abstractalicious class. Lyric is the founder of Global Quilt Connection, and the words on this little quilt are sew, quilt, and do stuff. And I was so excited about quilting back then, and I really wanted to dig in and do a lot of things, and so that's a source of inspiration for me. This is my machine that I use for piecing and assembling my quilts. It's a Bernina Activa 220 signed by Mr. Ulchi himself. This is my mother's table or desk that she used when she was a child in her bedroom doing homework. And right now I use this table for organizing my quilt pieces when I'm assembling them. This is my small Oliso iron that I use to iron seams. And this is a little cutter that I use when I'm doing chain piecing. This is a chair that goes with my mother's desk. This is a cart that I use for storage. On the bottom is printable fabric that I print on my home printer, and I then assemble into quilt tops that are my art quilts. In the middle is a space for projects that are in progress. And the top is something that I use for storing patterns and for storing books. This is my work surface, both this piece of furniture and this is my cutting table. This is a quilt that I made for exhibit in 2025. It's called The Knitted Reef. And my goal for 2025 for my art was to combine knitting with quilting. And there are several creatures on this quilt. Some of them are knitted from patterns from other artists, and some of them are designed and knitted by me. And it's an aquatic scene with several fish, starfish, an anemone, clownfish, and I designed and knit this jellyfish. This is a quilt top for a quilt that I have on exhibit in the Chicagoland area. It's being exhibited all around Illinois and Wisconsin. And I make a digital composite and I print it onto printable paper, and I sandwich the quilt top into a quilt, and then I embellish. And that's generally how I make my artwork these days. So this is a storage furniture for me, and in the top I have room for all kinds of notions and some accessories for my machines, a little bit of sewing thread, some pattern weights, my needle collection for hand embroidery and for machine work. In this drawer I have room for rulers for quilting and rulers for cutting and measuring. In this drawer, I have lots and lots of machine embroidery thread. I've got a machine downstairs that I use to embroider. I do things for Global Quilt Connection and for making art on that machine. Down here, I have several quilt tops that I've printed, my Inktense pencils, a nice pair of scissors. And these 4 drawers down here have accessories for my machines, patterns, notions, and sewing supplies for apparel sewing. This is my cutting table, and I have a drawer for scissors and pins and markers and various other things, a tiny ruler. And over here I have bobbins for my quilting machine, tape, hot hammer, markers. Here on my cutting table, I have a fish. This is a woolly petals pattern, and this fish is partially made. It needs to be stuffed and finished sewing. I'm getting together with some artists in my guild to make all of these fish, these 3D sardines, and we're going to exhibit them at the Chicago Botanic Garden in the fall. So this is the partially sewn fish. This is the stuffing that I'm going to use to stuff the fish. And here is a bag with the pattern and more fabric that I used to cut out to make more fish. So that's really going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And down here in this part of the room where you can't see, I have some cabinets for storage of muslin and embroidery supplies. I have some containers here for fabric scraps and remnants from quilts. And my iron and my ironing board are down here. And this is Loretta. This is my quilting machine where I do most of the embellishment for my quilts. I do machine embellishment, and I also do some embellishment by hand. I've got a high table here, or a high, sort of a high stool here that I sit on when I'm using my quilting machine. And since I'm short, I have to have little containers to put my feet on. Over here, so come this way. When I'm using my quilting machine and I'm making a bigger piece, I have this cart here that I put on the other side of the table. And the cart is about the same height as my table, so it really works to help me support a bigger piece when I'm working on it. And over here are 2 IKEA sawhorses and a table. And when I'm working on a big piece, I put this cart on one side of the table, and then I put this table on the other side of the table, and it really works well. So this area here might look familiar to you because this is where I film my courses for the Global Quilt Connection. So I swing this tabletop over, and I use this blue wall as a background. And these sawhorses are also height adjustable, so I can make myself comfortable. And I use the table for holding and displaying equipment that I talk about during my courses. This is some of my equipment here. All right, let's look at 1 or 2 more things, and I'm going to bring you around this way. Okay, good. This is my art wall in progress. I use these pieces. They're from Studio Art Quilt Associates auctions. Our other artists do mini quilts, and I like to hang them here and use them for inspiration. As I'm on my way up the stairs into my studio, I like to look at these quilts. And I'm an engineer. Once an engineer, always an engineer. So safety is important to engineers. So I have a fire extinguisher. If anything spontaneously combusts in my studio, I'm ready for it. Thanks for coming.
Hello, everybody. Here we are with Susan Couch, who is, of course, my fellow colleague at the Global Quilt Connection. Susan, wonderful to have you with us. Just to start us off, remind people where they can find you online.
Well, you can find me online on Global Quilt Connection. I have a Instagram, Suze is Knitting, SUSIZISKNITTING. And also Suze is Making, spelled similarly.
Wonderful. And we will link to those in the notes that go along with this video. So thank you so much for sharing your studio with us, which was absolutely wonderful. I have questions, of course I do. First of all, kick us off with what made you decide to go with Bernina, because you've got the Bernina Activa 220. And then you've also got was it a serger that you've got as well? That was another Bernina?
A quilting machine, the Q20.
Oh, wow, the Q20. So are you a Bernina person through and through? Have you always been? Tell us about that.
Yes. So when I started sewing seriously again, I went to a local retail store, and I was introduced to Bernina. And as I got to know the brand, I started to really like it because their education is very good. It's very detailed. And I worked in retail for a little while, and I work with different brands of machines, and I gravitated towards Bernina. I sort of specialized in that. I ran their educational program at the store, and they just have very good education for the consumer, very good education for the retailer. It's easy to sell their machines and their accessories because their accessories are all numbered, so they're all on a wall. If you need something, you can just go to the wall and find it right away. Whereas some of the other brands, people would come in looking for a foot, and it would be foot number K, and I'd be looking at the wall of, feet and accessories, not knowing where to find the thing because things were, and different feet went with different machines, and
Right.
it was just easier to sell, easier to use, and high quality. And I value education very much, and that's
As your work with Global Quilt Connection goes to show. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
it seemed like you had an interesting table around the 220 as well. Was that a Bernina piece of furniture?
No, I think that's an arrow table, and it's got a really nice insert. It's small, it has wheels on it, so if I really wanted to take it somewhere, I could. It would be heavy.
And it looked like it had a kind of shelf at the back where you could put different things while you were sewing.
No, it's all on one level.
Oh, it's all on one level. Okay, that's my bad.
Yeah.
So you've showed us some of your beautiful quilts, and you combine the knitting and the quilting, and they were so fun. But one of the things that really interested me was the printable fabric. And this is just something you print on a home printer, right? You don't need any special equipment.
Yes, I've got an inkjet printer. It's a Epson SC900, and it has just the regular inkjet cartridges. It's 17 inches wide. You can get one for 19 inches wide, but I really wanted something more economical. And I get the paper from a company. I order from them directly, and it comes on rolls, and they'll cut it to a 17-inch width roll for me.
Wow.
And so I use Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Firefly to do my composites. And I also have a background in amateur photography, so I've got quite a library of photographs that I draw from when I make my digital composites. Amazing. And then I make them into a composite. If I need to generate something, I use Adobe Firefly, and I use Adobe Firefly because all of the images used to train Adobe Firefly are purchased from artists, so it didn't scrape the internet and take things that were in the public domain. It paid each artist for each image.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, and we'll link to the people who supply all these things in the notes below. A couple of other things I want to touch on. You've got this great design wall, which is pretty large. And did you make that yourself, or was it bought, or how does that work?
I just tacked some soft and stable up on the wall.
Yeah, and that's perfect, right?
Yeah, it's kind of sticky, not as sticky maybe as a cotton batting, but I'll put T-pins into it if I need to keep things in the same place.
Yeah, and we've seen so many different solutions from different people. I think it's fascinating how ingenious everybody is and using their creativity. But yeah, that's a great solution. And then lastly, you had something that I have not seen in anyone else's studio, which is a fire extinguisher. Tell us about that.
So my previous career was in engineering, and I spent some time in industrial complexes, and we had a lot of training and I was very grateful to have that training every year to remind me. So I think about, when I'm in my studio, I think about things like trip hazards. If something catches on fire, the fire extinguisher is right there. I use Kai rotary cutters because they self-close. If I put the Kai cutter down on my table, it's closed. Whereas another one, some of the other cutters, you have to push a lever and it extends the blade out. so that you can use it. And if you put your cutter down, because I get into the flow of things, if I put my cutter down, I could go back and cut myself.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
not too easy to do.
I also have a plastic box where I put my used needles. It's like a little, I don't know how, I'm sure I got it on Amazon, but it's a plastic box with a lid and it's a plastic box with a lid that's about a little bit longer than a needle. And I have all these old sewing machine needles in there. And when I
Oh,
find that I don't want to use the needle, I put it there right away. And I also
right.
have these pin cushions that I got for Christmas one year that are magnetic. So all my needles are stuck on there. So they're not, if I switch between one needle to another from metallic thread to cotton thread or a bigger, thicker thread, and I have a bigger eye needle, I have needles stored on those
That's wonderful.
magnetic.
Yes, because I'm sure I'm not the only person who has trodden on a needle and kind of regretted it afterwards. It's so interesting. That's something that I guess I've given very little thought to, and just hearing you say that, I've had any number of cables that were kind of stretched at trip height because
Mm-hmm.
the cable wasn't quite long enough or something in the past, especially when I'm recording a video behind me. So, oh, that's an excellent tip, and we will link to all these products below. But certainly, having a fire extinguisher, it kind of surprised me that there's nothing in my apartment that would put out a fire. And of course, you've got smoke detectors come standard in most homes now. But it's all very well to know that there's a fire. But by the time the fire brigade arrives or the fire service, then your stash has already gone up in smoke. So
You have to
yeah.
grab the cat or dog and go.
Oh, absolutely. Cats over stash every time. Just. Okay, well, wonderful. Thank you so much for that excellent tip about studio safety and just throughout the home as well. And thank you so much for sharing your studio with us. Just
Thank
remind
you.
people, where can they find you?
Suze Knitting on Instagram and Suze Making also on Instagram.
Wonderful. And we'll have those
So,
links in the notes below. All right,
great.
Susan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.